मॅडम तुम्ही लाईव्ह स्ट्रीमिंग करा.
हो, मी सुरू करतेय. एक अर्धा मिनिट द्या.
हो.
तुम्ही ऍडमिट वगैरे बघा सर.
हो, मी ऍडमिट बघतो आणि सगळ्यांना म्यूट करू. I am requesting everybody to close their videos so as to conserve the bandwidth. Not the Tetali sir, Banik sir, and Murli sir. Please keep on your video.
झालंय सुरू. आपण सुरू करू शकतो.
Okay. Welcome all to this second lecture in Mission Bamboo Awareness 2025. We all know that bamboo has got the great potential for a sustainable development of the society. We in India are having the second largest production of bamboo in the world, but our industrial processing capacity is hardly 3 to 4%. And bamboo has got great potential for the society, for economic prosperity, for sustainable development, for nature conservation. Bamboo is a sort of a silver bullet for future. But we haven't understood. There is lack of awareness and there is lack of information at various levels. There are various experts who have dedicated their lives to the bamboo. They are very knowledgeable persons. But on the other hand, there are various elements in the society who are young technocrats who want to enter this field, but they don't have the knowledge. And we are trying to act, this lecture series will be a bridge between the experts having the knowledge and the entrepreneurs, farmers, and we intend to have a proper interaction between farmers as well as industry and the experts. This will propel the bamboo movement in India. That's why we have named it Mission Bamboo Awareness 2025. There will be monthly lectures. Tetali sir and Murli sir have identified various experts, and we are trying to bring them on this platform, and they will be delivering, they will be sharing their knowledge and experience, and we'll all benefit from them. And today, I now request Murli sir to introduce Dr. Banik sir.
Okay. Hope I'm audible to all.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good morning to all. It's my great honor and very pleasant tasks this morning to introduce the speaker of the day, an eminent scholar and a legend in the world of bamboo. For those who are already into bamboo research, Dr. Ratan Banik needs no introduction. But for the benefit of the younger participants and the newcomers to bamboo, let me, as briefly as possible, give an introduction. Dr. Banik has had a very eventful life, rich education and professional career, spanning several countries, several positions, official and otherwise, diverse research disciplines, not just limited to bamboo, and a vast experience in the field. Regarding his early days, he was born in 1944 in Sylhet, which is part of British India at those days, and now in Bangladesh. His early schooling was in Sylhet. Then he went to University of Dhaka for an BSc and MSc in botany. He pursued his MS in horticulture and tissue culture at the University of Los Banos in Philippines, followed by a diploma in forestry during 1974-75 from the Forestry Experimental Station Meguro in Japan. He took his PhD in bamboo biology, propagation, and silviculture from the University of Saskatchewan in Canada during 1980-1983. He has been to China and studied tropical agroforestry and use of multipurpose trees in afforestation of degraded land at the Chinese Academy of Forestry, and also bamboo conservation and diversities at the Yunnan Shinshuabana in China. He has also been to the United States at the University of Colorado during 2000 to study natural resource management and environmental forestry. He has been a close associate of eminent bamboo scholars like Dr. Walter Lise and Professor Ueda. He has a long research career at the Bangladesh Forest Research Institute, Chittagong, from where he retired as the director and chief research officer. He established the bamboo system, a plant propagation facilities, including a tissue culture lab at the BFRI, established seed orchards, community nurseries, conducted silviculture and genetic improvement trials of a number of species, including bamboo. After retirement, he continued sharing his vast experience. He was bamboo expert for the ADB, the Asian Development Bank, and had prepared the Bangladesh Forestry Master Plan. He was also an advisor to the International Bamboo and Ratan Organization, INBAR, based in Delhi, for the Delhi office for South Asia, and also the National Mission on Bamboo Applications, and later the National Bamboo Mission in India. He is one of the leading authorities of the world in bamboo forestry, silviculture, management, and has a vast number of publications in the form of research papers and book chapters. He has authored more than 80 scientific publications on different aspects of bamboo. Some of the more renowned works are Biology and Silviculture of Muli, that is Melacana baxifera bamboo, Silviculture of South Asian Priority Bamboos, a subject on which he'll be talking today, the Manual of Vegetative Propagation of Bamboo, and Domestication and Improvement of Bamboos. Several more publications are of great importance to the bamboo literature in the world today. I'm indeed very fortunate in having known Dr. Banik even personally for some years now, and I've learned so much from him from the extended phone calls that we have regularly. It has also revealed to me the humble and gentlemanly nature of this learned man. He is indeed a treasure trove in the field of field experience in bamboo that has perhaps not been fully captured in his published work. And therefore, we are most fortunate that we are having him with us today for the talk. I'm sure he will motivate all the participants today, especially the younger generation, on the fascinating yet unacknowledged topic of village bamboos of South Asia. I thank the organizers once more for this wonderful opportunity to hear Dr. Banik. Thank you, everyone.
Should I start now?
Yeah, no, sir, I'm requesting Dr. Tetali, sir. He wants to say a few words.
Okay, please.
Tetali, sir. Tetali, sir.
I think we have lost connection with him. Maybe he'll speak at the end of the...
Okay.
Maybe at the end of the story. Let us start our main program.
I think there is some connection problem with him. That's why he has logged out.
Okay.
We'll start.
I'll be,
If he comes at the end of the lecture, we'll request him to.
okay.
Hello.
Many thanks to Sunilji and
हो भी
hello?
गए तो एक मिनट हाँ आलम
Many thanks Sunilji and also Dr. Murali for your kind description about me. And it is too much for me. However, let me talk something about what I have learned or seen in the villages. A few points I will try to highlight here in this meeting. So the title of my lecture will be South Asian Village Bamboo Species, a Field Perspective. Village bamboo species is this topic could be a very big topic. We can write volumes on it, but just I touch some few points so that it creates brainstorming among our younger scientists to study in this aspect. And you know, South Asian climate, I have described in these pages, South Asian climate, continental climate, equatorial climate, and subtropical climate, tropical climate, and also semi-arid climate. We have, and as you know, we have a number of countries in this South Asia, Bangladesh, India, Bhutan, Nepal, Sri Lanka, then Pakistan, and also part of Myanmar also. So India means Northeast also, everything. So this is the area, it is a vast area. And many people are residing here. And one of the fertile land of the world. And climatically as well as topographically and also edaphic fertility. So people from their very beginning of their civilization here, it appears they have chosen some important trees with them with whom they were staying or residing. And among these trees or plants, bamboo is one of the closest plant to them in the villages. So next is the South Asia, and South Asia represents, these are the countries, as I mentioned earlier. The next one, about 1,500 species of bamboo is there, and 120 genera has been described by taxonomists present in the globe. And major species which is found in Asia Pacific and South America, while least in Africa and Europe. No bamboo in Europe. The major genera, these are the major genera, especially as you know, Bambusa and Dendrocalamus and Melocana, these are the very important genera are growing in this region. Next is here, I made some table. It is a tentative one. And you can see that, the next one. You can see that total number of genus is 90. But it doesn't mean that total is 90. It is overlapping with each other, each of the country. And total species around 340, same thing. It is overlapping. As for example, said Bambusa vulgaris or Bambusa bamboos, it grows also almost all the countries of this region. And so that's how, if we make some tentative estimation, more than 60% bamboos diversities, I mean the species, are in the villages, and around 40% they are truly native one in the forest. So considering this, we can say what are the major species growing in this region. And you can see this C means cultivated, F means forest or natural. And here I have shown you some are as well as growing in the forest as well as also cultivated. And some are purely cultivated. As for example, Bambusa malka, purely cultivated. Then Bambusa cacharensis is purely cultivated. Bambusa jaitiana purely cultivated. And also in our area, especially in India, Bangladesh, Nepal, Bhutan, all these area, if we consider then polyorpha is also purely cultivated. In Northeast India, It is cultivated in the villages, especially in Tripura, polymorpha. So similarly, some of the important names of these bamboo. Balqua, there are two types of balqua we find in our villages. Common borak, that is bambusa balqua, we call it as non-borak or teliborak, and another one is bambusa balqua shilborak. It is very strong, solid, this shilborak. These are you can find in our Assam as well in Tripura, also in different parts of Bangladesh. Bulgaris is very much present throughout this subcontinent. And one of the interesting thing is that this of these two species, Balqua and Bulgaris, are very much fond of by the local farmers because they can utilize this bamboo for their home construction and their all these construction activities and the agricultural implements, making agricultural implements, and the polymorpha and the cacharensis. These are the, and also Newtons, they use this bamboo mostly for their handicraft and then furniture making, plywood. And these are, the ply bamboo is the modern one. The Hamiltoni, you can see that. And Thysosticus oliveri, it is purely village bamboo now in Northeast India. And nowadays it also been cultivated in other parts of India, and very much cash crop type of bamboo in Tripura. So these are some of the points I have pointed out. Now the bamboo, out of this total 340 bamboo species, what I mentioned in the previous table, say around 250 are being cultivated in the rural areas. If we total count it, it will come like this. Little is, but the question is, little is known about these cultivated bamboos. What are these information? We don't know. What are the species? First of all, what are the species growing in villages? We don't know, excepting few names. Their exact number of existence and their distribution, and also phenotypic diversities, like same species, bambusa, say tulda. There are some population which has longer internode. There are some population shorter internode. So reason-wise cultivation intensity is in which area, which species is more cultivated, and why they cultivate this, and also what are the ethnic relations with this cultivation and this utilization. These are not known to us, and we should know this to protect these resources. Bamboo in rural cultivation are mostly grown in the homestead gardens, wasteland farms, and owned by the farmer families, while in urban cultivation, it is in eco park, parks, botanical gardens, and owned by the institutions or any government institutions or by the NGOs. Maximum number of village species are raw material for modern industries. And 20 species I have calculated are being utilized in modern industries in these South Asian countries. And these are almost all are from the village. People selected these bamboo species out of natural habitat, that is native source, and also introduced on the basis of multi-purpose utility, market demand, and suitable to the local environment, whether it can be grown or not. As for example, in the coastal areas or in the southern areas of Bengal, East Bengal or West Bengal or Tripura. Tripura, I mean, where floods takes place. In those areas, people do not cultivate they cultivate mostly the Bambusa vulgaris because these species can tolerate flood water for at least 3 to 4 weeks. And other species cannot survive. In the northern area where the flood is not common, they cultivate other species like um, Bambusa balqua is very much has very much importance to the village life. So people have selected the habitat condition from their field experience, where to cultivate and what are the environmental conditions they need to grow. And, and as regards the resource estimation, there are Indian State of Forest FSI report, which gives mostly the bamboo area of the forest. And little is known about the village bamboos. And so that FSI report doesn't give us any information about the village bamboos and also about the presence of different species. As for example, species A, B, C, D, which species, how much area it covers, it is not yet known to us. And maybe there are some regions where the pure vegetation like Malacana, it is very easy that all the areas in Malacana we know from the ground shooting. So we can easily say this area is Malacana area. But when there is a mixture of forest, mixture of species growing, and it becomes difficult or not possible at all with this technology. No estimation of village or farm bamboos, but as direct role, our people's economy, as well as industry, as well as they are very much close to the people in their rural livelihood and economy. These raw material are very much important for the cottage industries and small industries, as well as nowadays in modern bamboo industries. And people have been using these village bamboos for their home construction, structural applications, bridge making, and all these purposes they are being used. So need the information about the amount and type of species. Field characters. What are the important field characters? Suppose we know now, say, Bambusa trunda is growing in these areas, Bambusa balqua is growing in these areas. So what are the important characters? The characters are straightness, erectness, straightness, height, diameter, wall thickness, road, all these characters, and the clump character also. Some clumps are open, some clumps are compact. So these are very important characters. People in the villages, those are old farmers, they already have selected the clump and the individual prototype of clumps, and they are growing in their homestead for getting the benefit out of those characters. And major field characters of forest and village bamboos. A few native species may also be planted or at least encouraged to plant in the villages. But there are certainly some village bamboos which are not native. As for example, in our area, Thysosteris olivera, it is not native. Similarly, you can see in general, village bamboo prefer to grow under open sky than those of native origin. Unlike native ones, village bamboo can spectacularly grow in isolation also. But generally in the forest or in most cases, when bamboo grows, they make a group or their community. But in the village, it can grow in isolation, one clump, two clumps, something like that. Or in the a clump is growing by the side of the pond. Majority of village species are tall, big diameter clumps. Majority of village species have stout branches in most of the calm nodes. Native bamboos like Malacana and Dolu has a dense cluster of thin, widely radiating, numerous subequal branches arising from each calm node. And these are not being cultivated in the villages because they need specific type of climate. And also, Malacana is very aggressive, so it can penetrate even into the house floor. So, farmer, though it is very useful bamboo in the Bengal and Northeast India, people do not cultivate it in their homestead. Village bamboos are cespitous type. There is clump, compact clump forming bamboo, and they have a short necked rhizome system, vacuum of rhizome system. But whereas Malacana Bexifera is a very open clump and solitary clumps are growing solitarily and is a long neck vacuum of rhizome, so cannot be cultivated in the homestead as I mentioned earlier. We cannot find any climbing bamboo in the village. Nobody cultivates climbing bamboo in the village. And now I will mention a little bit about some of the bamboos. Bamboos and bamboos. There are three types of bamboos and bamboos you can find in the villages. One is this one. This one, very tall. It is a lady forester. It is in Madhya Pradesh, Khandwa. Very tall, maybe 35 feet or 34 feet, something like that. And it is the normal one. And this is the bushy one. This is not the bushy one. And people grow this bushy bamboo to protect, make a fence. And there is a story that in Hyderabad, the Nawab planted this bamboo in the trench so that the British cannot enter into that in his kingdom. It is written in the book also, what I am saying now, in the book Gamble books. So we can see such a variations are there in the villages. So the farmers knew this variation, and according to their utilization need, they grow these different diversities in their homestead or near their homestead. And this is Cacharensis. And you can ask me why I've given the local name first. There is the scientific name first. The reason is nowadays, because we are all talking about bamboos, we should use our local names. And Cacharensis only and when we are sure that the species what I have collected and the seed what I have collected or the material what I have collected scientifically verified, then we can put the scientific name. So that's why it is better to communicate among ourselves the local name. As for example, few days ago, one gentleman was asking me that, sir, I got some seed of Balkoa bamboo. But I know, so far my knowledge goes, Balkoa bamboo do not produce any seed. If they at all flower, then it do not produce any seed. Then I said, he said, sir, the supplier told me that he can supply 1 kg bulk seed. I said, okay, you collect it and show me. And then I said, it's a balqua. There are two different types of same. The name is there, balqua. Balqua. Katabarak. Katabarak is not a bambusa balqua. It is something else. So balqua is we should not think that all boraks are balqua. And also there are kaliborak. It is also not balqua. It is another species. So people names, as for example, Jati Bas here in these pictures, Jati. In Assam, all Bambusa Tulda they call Jati. But all Bambusa Tulda, all Jatis are not Tulda. You see, tell me again. In Assam, they call Bambusa Tulda as a Jati Bas. But all Jati Bas are not Bambusa Tulda. This is also Jati they call, but it is not a Tulda. It is something else. So now if I get a seed of Bambusa Jati Bas, I'm thinking that I'm growing Bambusa Tulda and I will produce material from this Tulda, then it will not be similar, same thing. So better to use this name, local name, and from where he brought it. Then it can be easily said that it is what type of species. And also Newtons. There are different names of Newtons. And accordingly, the internode length as well as the branching pattern are also different. You see? And this is also a Bambusa polymorpha. You can see different types of clumps. This is a clump, this is also clump, and this is another big clump. So different types of clumps are growing in different parts of villages. And one is there in, I've seen pencil size. And this is the area in Chimpajola, Tripura. And in the just near the Chimpajola Wildlife Sanctuary, the coconut are being sold by the side of the road, and people are using this coconut, this bamboo as a pipe for drinking the coconut water. So same species growing in different area with different morphological attributes. So these are all morphological diversities are existing still today in our villages. And here you can see color variation also. Here is the color of the younger emergence of the shoot. Here emergence is in different types of color. Here emergence of different types of colors. And this is the tulda. You can see here is you can see the stripes, but there are no stripes. And the main major character is the tracloid. That is major 3 branches are there. The central branch is stouter, the biggest one, and the other 2 are not so big or not so stout. These are one of the major character of the tulda. So, however, these are the diversities we find in our villages, and these are I have written here. And in Borpeta, Nalbari, if we go, we find the bamboo in Nalbari and Borpeta. These are very wonderful, like a knob, like a pipe. You know, they are growing there, and people have been using that bamboo for their homestead and also other activities. And in the Karbi Anglong also, but that one, Karbi Anglong is, I have some reservation. I think it is not really Bambusa Tulda. It is, though they call it Jati Mas, which is maybe different one. Maybe what I mentioned, Bambusa cacharensis, Jativas, Jatibo. This one. This one is Jatibom, or so they don't use the word, only they call Jati. So these are the things we must keep in our make a one. And this is Hamiltoni, you can see. And Hamiltoni is a very much towards Torai area, and it is a northern part of Indian subcontinent, and growing and up to Arunachal, and then it grows down to the Vietnam and other areas. And in Manipur, Naga Hills, it is longer internodes and thin walls in Naga Hills, population, Tamil population. So there are variations are there. And also in Himachal, this it is very big size I have seen, and you can see this Himachal Palampur, such a big, and this is me, and you can just add and such a big Hamiltoni. And this is Luton, Bilashpur. This is also very big. And there, I went there with one of my younger colleagues, there is Dr. Rajesh Kaushal. While I was working with the D.V. Ponti University with an MBA project. And this is strictus. You can see there are 3 types of strictus you can find in our country. So people, it is not that people don't like the smaller ones and they have eradicated it. No, they use it for fencing, they use it for lathi, for construction. So these are the ways they are being used. So another one is very much important. Pseudoxylon toxide. It is one of the bamboo Western Ghat and also in Konkan region, Sindhudurg, and very much nowadays used. And this is Thyzostochus oliveri. This is purely introduced in Tripura area and also through Manipur. Because Manipur here I have written, it is border around the Myanmar. So people have selected it and brought it to the Northeast India, and that's how it entered into the mainland Indian subcontinent. So regarding the maintenance and harvesting, some those who are not known to their crop, or they do not want to make the crop sustainable, they harvest this way, because generally bamboo, it is the rule that bamboo will produce new shoot in the peripheral region. In the central region, the bamboos are older one. So if the greedy farmers or lazy farmers, what they do, they harvest the bamboo from the peripheral one with less labor and with less time. And that's how they deteriorate the club health. But the real farmers, they know, as for example, here I can show another thing also. There are thorny branches in the thorny bamboos, and they know, village bamboo people know, they prune the branches, thorny branches, and use these thorny branches for many different purposes. And also, this is the bamboo Bambusa, the dendroclast aspar. From base to the tip, it is branchy, and now they have pruned it out, and accordingly they are harvesting in the Pokraj I have seen it. Now the pruning, as I mentioned earlier, and you can see, as I showed you in previous slides, how to harvest. And here, this farmer is very much dedicated one. He has harvested the older one from the central part of the older calm from the central part of the clump. And now the new calms are coming in the central part also. So the health of the clump remains good, and he can get a better productivity in the thing. And diversity is the flowering. So now, as we are seeing that there are morphological diversities, so definitely there should be some flowering diversities. It is interesting to mention you that gregarious flowering is not known in the village bamboos, village grown bamboos, not known. And only the sporadic flowering or partly flowering are seen. And also irregular flowering. And sometimes some long flowering cycle bamboos are also being cultivated by the villagers. As for example, in Sikkim and Kalimpong, Hylostricus nigra, Canonis, generally 120 years of flowering. Last year, 2022-23, it flowered in Sikkim and Kalimpong. It did not produce any seed, but easy to multiply by vegetative means. And most of the village bamboos can be multiplied vegetatively because it is another alternative strategy of these species. They have involved alternative strategies because there is no much gregarious flowering, so seed setting is also less, and so irregular flowering also seed setting is also less. 1 or 2 clumps flower, so pollination is also not successful. Therefore, seed setting is also less. So how to multiply all this population of these species? They have taken the strategies that most of these species are easy to multiply by measurements. So now I like to conclude this. Farm and village forest is a treasure trove of bamboo genetic resource that have been selected, cultivated, and maintained by the people. Selection and cultivation was based on utility of the species, socioeconomic importance, and site suitability. Such variation of both morphological and flowering nature between natural and cultivated clones of a bamboo species has been recognized through age-long exploration, field trials at homestead gardens, identification and selection, which could be one of the examples of horticultural wisdom of our local farmers. Unfortunately, no or very little study has been done in this regard. So need extensive field work, travel, exploration, data recording. Encourage and support the community conservation, develop database, and also cataloging the farmer's name plus the species name. And this is you can see this picture. Whether you have noticed it, how the people are using this bamboo as a life health and also a veil for the families. Inside there are some pond, so the families can take bath and can work day-to-day work in the pond. That's why they grow this. So these are the people's wisdom. We must respect that and make some community conservation and develop database. So this is the end of my short description of what I have seen. And I mentioned it here today just to create brainstorming among our younger colleagues so that they they go to the village and identify the better one, desired one, better genotype, and preserve it with the understanding with the local farmers and make that database. So I think this is the end of my deliberation. And thank you all for patient sharing.
Thank you, Banik sir, for a great lecture. It was really enlightening to hear your ages of experience. Now I request Murli sir and Tetali sir and Banik sir to join in a panel discussion, and they will be discussing various aspects about village bamboos. And after the panel discussion is over, we will take up questions from the audience. So please bear with us. Sir, panel discussion शुरू करते हैं. Tetali sir, Murli sir, and Banik sir.
Dr. Tetali, would you like to initiate the discussion? You wanted to say something?
Yes, Murli. Thanks, Murli. When we started this entire program, the first thing that came to my mind was you and Dr. Banik, and third one is Dr. Charles Shastri. When I suggested this point to Dr. Banik about to talk about bamboos of India, he suggested not just bamboos of India. He took a topic of South Asian bamboos. It, 2 points I realized from this. One thing, this generation, Dr. Banik's generation to up to our generation, we were grown up with Gurudev Rabindranath Tagore's poem, where the mind is without fear. He says, where the world is not broken up into the domestic walls, into the heaven of freedom, let God my country wake. This one beautiful thing, seeing how you see the world, whether you want to live in a fragmented world or you want to grow together. This first point I realized such a beautiful thought, because South Asia is not actually, before British made lines of separation, it was culturally as well as biodiversity was united. And people used to cross boundaries without any barriers, and they shared everything. This was a beautiful culture, which I thought, Dr. Banik's greatness. He was born in Bangladesh, and he went to every corner like a messiah. He's a real legend. I think he's the only legend I know who went to every corner of this thick tropical forest and studied on bamboo. Second point I realized, Murli, is about biodiversity. Many times we are very conservation, we are very fragmented minds. Even biodiversity hotspot thing is now changed from country to region, geography wise. Indo-Burma biodiversity hotspot, like Western Ghats, Sri Lanka biodiversity hotspot. Now slightly we are enhancing, or we are thinking in a better direction. And biodiversity do not have boundaries like the way human beings demarcate. If you want to prosper really, we should have a common ideologies, common thinking, common planning. If we think separately, I don't think any of these countries will really prosper. So I thought Banik sir taking up this subject is an extraordinary topic, and it is worth, and his experience talking about bamboo's diversity, village level diversity, how farmers have developed. One interesting point I realized is every time I also go, it is not actually what we think about many varieties, all these things IRA developed or some other research institute. The varieties farmers have developed is far more than what this entire 75 years of independent or boundary countries. There are more varieties everywhere because people know what are the uses, where they can use better. This point I want to start with boldly, and I want from Banik sir and you to talk about how we can commonly generate some common planning for this South Asia bamboo prosperity. Yeah.
Dr. Banik, would you like to comment on that aspect?
Maybe at the end I can summarize and talk something.
Yeah, Dr. Tetali, you raised an important point that biodiversity knows no boundaries or borders. These are man-made, and plants and animals don't respect it. And it will be better for even humans if we can somehow remove the boundaries and become one human species with no difference. And from the point of view of bamboos, Dr. Banik has indeed worked in almost all the countries in this region and has field experience. And one of the important points that came up is, which has not been generally discussed in the literature, the concept of village bamboos, how the community conservation and horticulture wisdom of local farmers, as Dr. Banik put it, it has been kind of hidden. The knowledge has been hidden from literature. And we could do very well to give credit to the farmers, and also their wisdom in selecting the species based on the utility as well as the suitability for the habitat, and see how it has resulted in selection of species which don't undergo this usual flowering cycle, which means they have unconsciously or consciously selected those varieties which are suitable for cultivation, and sometimes even for large industrial plantations also. These same traits are useful there also. So I would like to also get opinion of Dr. Banik about we have, as he mentioned, something like 250 species in cultivation. Maybe far less number is in wide cultivation. There are only 16 or 17 priority species, so to say, selected by the Government of India, National Bamboo Mission. I would like to get his opinion also whether we need to actively consider bringing more species into cultivation after scientifically, doing the selection of specific clones, exactly on the same lines as what the farmers have done. So will this actually improve, or is it enough that we look at the important species already in cultivation and do further research? Certainly, Dr. Banik has introduced a subject here which can be the focus of research in the coming years, so that the already existing knowledge is widened, strengthened due to strengthened by scientific study in all the areas like propagation, genetic improvement, and scientific management of plantations. So this we know is an urgent requirement because, as has been mentioned several times over several lectures, that India has the potential, but we are yet to achieve anything compared to the other countries like China and Vietnam. So we need to do a lot of work. And I hope this kind of interactions with Dr. Banik and other experts will help us. So much for the present, and I would like to hear the opinion of Dr. Banik and Dr. Tetali.
Very nice that you have, both of you, thanks to Dr. Tetali and Dr. Murali, for in-depth analysis of this deliberation, of my deliberation. It is very true that, as I mentioned, there are many numbers of species growing in these areas. It is not that all these species are growing in one country, or in one part of the country. As for example, few months ago, I went to Assam in some villages. There, my finger like palm fingers like diameter from small finger to the thumb. This finger like diameter, it is growing up to 25 feet maximum tall. And these are they call bajali. The local people they call bajali. Then I asked these local people why you have grown this. Lots of these plants are growing in the homestead. And then the old lady, he answered that question. They make some cloths, taat, and this making the handloom, they use these pieces of bamboo for throwing this thread inside the sheet for weaving the sheet. So in these areas, these type of people are residing, so they have grown this bamboo for their for their utilization. But it may not be known to, say, in the West Bengal, as for example, in some part of the West Bengal, or in some part of Odisha, or some part of Madhya Pradesh. So, and if we think that as it is not known, so it is not important here. It is not that. So when we calculate all this one, we should keep all this list, all the species in the list, but it should be the regional distribution. So these are the species what we have seen in these areas growing. These are the species growing in these areas, and accordingly we can make the list, and we can preserve the list, and also the farmer should be involved in preserving this list. So these are the important thing, and also if you our knowledge is very much limited. How much we have traveled. So millions, thousands of villages are there in this subcontinent, and thousands of peoples are growing from after each 50 kilometers. The language, culture, little bit changing. So their utilization of bamboo resources is also changing. But they have selected, they have conserved, they have been conserving, they have been maintaining all these resources and according to their utilization. From there, they have done the selection process. Now the modern people, they should go there and collect those ones, and according to their industrial need, they can utilize that particular species or particular genotype as a raw material for their industry. So the basic work has been mostly done by the local farmers. Please.
Sir, thank you. Sir, 2 points. One thing out of this discussion is we should see this South Asia as one biodiversity component. And second point, you stressed very important point is lot of bamboo is in farmers' households or backyards, controlled by farmers and selected by farmers, improved by farmers. So we need a proper documentation of these phenotypes. And second thing is their uses, which in India or any other country of South Asia, such documentation has never happened. So if we think about, we should have a common planning. First, identify, and first base we have to create, what are these farmer varieties. And dust characters also, so far we have not developed for these varieties, so that we can give that credit to farmers or village communities. That is also one very important, that individually India cannot do it. We should together only we can grow. Sir, second point I want to raise is lot of I see everywhere in education, especially I see most of the research, everything is lab oriented research. Nowadays, when I discussed with you and Murli, I always realize your way of writing and I read your books and so minute details, which like earlier, whether it's a troop or cooks or some the hookers, beautiful descriptions in looking into the minute details of the plants. That is possible only people go to field and observe themselves, and not to one place, to many places, right? And they have to visit. And now you say that it is not just India, we should go to South Asia also. Free exchanges of scientists to different places, we can do some sort of motivation. And second thing is, many times students do not know what sort of research they should do, what are the problems that is world facing, what South Asia is facing. Instead of engaging them in religious conflicts or some stupid activities, why can't we governments come together and make a common planning, so that youngsters can go to field, make reports about rural areas. In this, maybe just not botany, many other fields also can join together, and they should document. Documentation is a very important thing for prosperity. First thing is knowledge base. Sir, do you agree with it? And you please make comment, Murli, and you, sir, please talk about that.
Correctly, the whatever resources are being utilized and exist in the field, the farmer should get the patent right.
Yes, sir.
Number one, what you have mentioned, and that is very true. And among all these countries in the South Asia, India is a very, as a landmass, it is very big.
Yes, sir.
Very country from west to east. The climate change, climate changes, and all this. So in India, there are found many different research institutions, and also many colleges are there, universities are there. The students should come forward and go to the field and collect all these informations. In these areas, so as for example, southern Assam, what are they growing in southern Assam, in northern Assam, in eastern Assam, as for example, or in Odisha, what are the things? So these are the things, and this type of thesis can be given to the MSc student. You information and utilize in areas. So these are very important documentation we need, which are lacking. We don't know anything, and our it was possible because I am one of the luckiest person. I have seen all the sides of these countries, and to the Invar, IDRC, I could see all these possible areas. It doesn't happen to everybody. So it was possible that I saw. It doesn't mean that everybody can see like that. But in the existing situation, at least each student should come forward, and universities should come forward and make some documentation of all these information.
Yes.
I agree with all what you have said and Dr. Murali have said. These are really important. We are lacking now.
Yes. Murali, you please suggest?
Yeah, I quite agree with you about the urgent need for documentation, particularly to conserve the particular selections done by the farming community, the bamboo communities. Maybe a little bit of scientific inputs to make it in a standardized format so that it can be widely understood by scientific community, because the names vary with the location. But it's nevertheless very important, as important as the botanical names. Along with documentation, I would suggest that there is a need for characterizing these selections in a proper
Yes.
manner so that the industry or the user agencies could benefit immediately. And as far as the credit that the communities need to get, I think the beginning could be made by assigning GI tags, that is the geographical indications, so that the credit for a particular community is conserved by using the GI tags. It is not as restrictive as patents, but I think it's more suitable for plant selections. So
Yeah,
that
yeah,
thing can be done so that the farmer community can be proud of their
yes.
done by their ancestors. And if they're conserving it today, their credit goes to them. This kind of thorough understanding of what wealth we have as a result of several generations of selection needs to be given credit. And I think we can make a beginning in properly documenting it with the help of Dr. Banik. We certainly have a good opportunity here for the youngsters to be the new researchers to be involved. That is what I think now.
I think some other gentlemen maybe they want to
Yes.
have some queries.
Can we open up the discussion for the other participants to ask questions? Because we are running.
Maybe last question. I want to ask Banik sir how he got fascinated with bamboos. Maybe some inspiration. How he got into. It's very difficult. People to work in a temperate region, working in a tropical forest are two different things. Tropics are so diverse, so rich, and so complex. And how he got attracted to bamboo and working in Chittagong forest, what are his some good experiences? If we can explain, then we can open first so that it will inspire younger generation.
In 1971, 72, 72
Yes.
probably, when I was in 1969, actually I joined in BFRI. In 72, there was one silviculturist, Syed Murtuza Hassan.
Yes.
He was from Hyderabad
Okay.
in British India time, and he was there as a silviculturist. And I joined in the silviculture division, and we started work. We made the segment of each node of a branch
Yes, sir.
and put into the sawdust, moist sawdust, whether we can grow what bamboo plantlets. It was our intention that from each node we can produce. So now this is an induction in the bamboo, something is important. Then in the we simultaneously we have started collection of different species throughout the country from different sources, mostly from villages, and in the forest only 7 or 8 species, 9 species are there, and all these species are in the villages, and we have grown them near the institute. We had a small hillocks. On the hillocks, we centralized them line by line, each species. And later on, after 10, 15 years, that garden gave us, it becomes a dictionary of bamboo. We could go every morning and we can see the differences of species. We can see the emergence of carbon and everything. So many things we have learned from that garden. And second thing, well, I went to Japan to study the forestry in 74. I had an opportunity to go to Nara, Kyoto, which was the original capital of Japan. there I had a chance to see Professor Kochiro Veda, and he was working in the botanical garden, a bamboo garden. At that time, he was 80 years, 89 or 80, something like that, more than 80 years old. And he gave some time to me, and that these two gentlemen, one is our silviculturist of BFRI, and this Professor Kochiro Veda, these two gentlemen has, you can say, baptized in my brain that bamboo is one of the important things to learn. And that's how I gradually I found interest and started learning the things. Still today, we are learning, but at the end of this, now I'm last 10th January, my 82 years complete. So now 83 years running. So now I realize that art is long, time is short. Time is short means now I cannot climb the hills. I cannot go deep to the jungles. I cannot walk mile after mile inside the village. So these are the limitations. That's why I cannot learn. That is the difficult situation now. So I would advise my younger colleague that you start learning now when you are young. And if you are at the age of oldness like me, you will have desire, but you will not have the ability. Thanks. This is how I became baptized in bamboo. I think, have you heard me?
Yeah,
Yes,
sir.
yes.
Yeah. It was fantastic, sir. It was so great listening to you. I think many people who are listening and after also on YouTube who will listen will be inspired, not only your talk, but your deeds. What you lifetime, work dedicated to bamboo and South Asia. That's very great of you, sir. Now, Murli, you say anything and then we will open it for.
No, I think because of shortage of time, we can, there may be questions waiting.
Yeah.
And then, while concluding, we can talk about it.
Now we can take up question and answers. If anybody has any questions for Banik sir. Sir, has there been any effort to create a bamboo setum of these village bamboo species? Is there any documentation done previously?
Actually, you see, we make the bamboo setum, means it should include both native and cultivated one. Then and then only we can realize the differences. And we should not segregate the village one and the native one. So better to grow whatever species you see, wherever you see, you bring them and centralize them. As for example, Bambusa Tunda, you make 3 lines or 4 lines. Each line has 30 clumps or 50 clumps. 2 or 3 clumps from different places. All these 50 clumps, if we take 5 clumps from one or 3 clumps from one places, say 16 or 17 clumps from different places are coming in one line. So if you make the 3 lines, so you are getting many sources. It may be village, it may be forest, but keep record. In the line number 1, suppose you have 1 to 51, 1 to 20, 30 clump. Clump number 25. From where you brought it, you should keep marking and record in your big register. Like a library has a big register, you maintain the register and keep this. in the generally you will find a librarian maintains a big register. Nowadays everything is in the computer, but in our time there was a register, permanent register, and maintain the permanent register and keep all these records. So it is better. I think whatever the collections in this subcontinent has been made, they have collected from village as well as from the forest. They have not collected separately, village or forest, not like that.
Thank you, sir. Any more questions?
Until someone else asks, I'll have a question to ask about. You know that there has been a lot of interest generated by some species like moso, where people are so obsessed with the stories they hear from China that they want to grow moso in India. Similarly, you can talk about guadua, which is coming from Latin America. What is your opinion about the need, whether these two species or even exotics like asper, are they really that important for the bamboo sector in India, or we can easily find alternatives among the local species? That importing, of course, germplasm from other countries is a difficult thing from the bureaucratic angle as well as from the phytosanitary perspective. So what do you think about the exotic species of bamboo in India?
Okay. May I know who has asked me this question?
Murli, sir.
Oh, actually, you have asked it. Okay. Yeah, I see. Now, this is no harm of bringing the species from other countries. But the question is, simultaneously, we should not forget our own species also. Phyllosticus is, nature has given these phyllosticus in temperate zone, not in the tropical zone. And Guadua is in the southern hemisphere, not in the northern hemisphere. That means in southern hemisphere, June, July is the winter, and here in June, July is the rainy season. So nature has given these things, and we can bring it and grow in a arboretum, bamboo setum, and see how they work and how they react with the climate change, because they will have a sudden climate change effect on their body. So this is also important to learn. But if we bring 10,000 seedlings of this particular plant and grow in a farm, that will be very serious or should not be done at a time like that. Grow small and let us see reaction with the climate, and then if we find it is suitable, why not we can introduce.
Thank you, sir.
Murli, I have just one point, Murli.
Yeah.
See, a small country like Britain has got a species introduction specialist in their universities. In the entire India, I have not seen a single specialist. Itself speaks where we stand to make such studies, whether it is good for our country, what way it will benefit. We don't have any this sort of parameters, one expert in this field. That's just to add to your point. That's all.
Sir, there is a question in the chat box by Date sir. What is the flowering cycle status of tea oliveri bamboo species?
Well, already I have some this how we calculate the flowering cycle. It is not that the person who is studying about the flowering cycle. Suppose I am telling you, it grows, it flowers after 65 years. It is not that 65 years before I sow the seed and that plant germinated and it is growing, and now it is 65 years. So it started flowering. So from there, seed to seed, I can say it is 65 years. But it doesn't happen like that. Most of the, excepting in few cases, in most of the cases, it is an estimation from the previous record. And Thysostochys oliveri is not our bamboo. It has been growing in Burma, northern Burma. In 1890, it was first seen by Oliver and sent the sample to the, and at that time it was flowering. And this beautiful bamboo, attractive one, silvery color stem, not so green because due to its persistent calm sheath, silvery color, it is very attractive and elegant looking. So he sent this material to the Calcutta Botanical Garden as well as to the Dehradun, to Dr. Gamble. Gamble was at that time working there as a botanist in both the sites and also in the forestry school. And in 1894, he observed that this is a new genus and he gave it the Thysostochys. And then to honor the collector, he named his Thysostochys oliveri. So this is the story behind this. Now, after that, little is known when it flowered. And in my book, I tried to collect the information in which areas it has flowered and which areas it has flowered. And then from there, I tried to deduce that flowering cycle. And I can tell you one thing. In Myanmar, 1891, as I said, it flowered, and then 1939 and 40, it flowered, and accordingly, it comes to 48 to 49 years flowering cycle in Myanmar. In India, 1938, 1939, it flowered. N.L. Moore, he got the sample, and from there, it has been recorded. So it is 47 and 45 years. Then later, and in Dehradun, it flowered in 1940-41. So from there, around 48-50 years. So it's an estimation. All these flowering cycles are estimation. It is around 48 to 50 years, the flowering cycle or interseeding period, you can say, of this particular Thysostochys oliveri. Nowadays, it has started flowering very, very sporadically in northern Tripura, in Koilashahar areas. In 2-3 years before, one clump flowered partly, and it continued 1 year, and then it died. The clump died. The seed yield was very little.
Thank you, sir. Sir, I will like to suggest something. I'm a chartered accountant by education, so I'm connected to different corporates. And if there is a good proposal for creating this village bamboo setup, I feel the industry will come forward and help under the CSR initiative. And we can have some private initiative on these lines. So if anything is to be taken further on these lines.
Why not to we have, if some funds are available, people can work, some land can be dedicated, and you need some cost for collection, you need for travel, cost for travel, you need cost for documentation, photography, as well as computer, so many, and also GIS. So all these things you need money to do survey. So if some organization supports financially and with some logistics instruments, why not to do that? It is good.
Any more questions?
Hello.
Ha.
Sir, I want to know that is there any species who work well in saline soil?
Well, we tried. In my knowledge, we have tried, but there are, for example, in the coastal areas, as you know, in coastal areas, water tide enters into the hinterland and destroys the farmland and paddy land. So there are embankment, high embankment, and is there. The government has done, the people have also done. The inner side of the embankment, I have seen only two species are there growing. Mostly the bambusa vulgaris they grow. And they have observed that it can tolerate little bit light salinity and also inundation. And otherwise, uh, not such that saline halophytic bamboos are not known to me. I don't know halophytic bamboo, or not reported in any literature. I have not seen. The people call it. There are some bamboo I have seen in literature, but I have not seen that bamboo also. Not much is written about that bamboo.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
I can add a few more points that vulgaris, Bambusa vulgaris, especially the yellow variety, seems to be a bit more tolerant than most bamboo. But as Dr. Banik said, truly halophytic conditions, I don't think bamboo will perform well. So there are other species like Bambusa malingensis, not a well-known species, which shows more tolerance. You should say it as tolerance to salinity. So maybe if you explore it further, there might be a possibility that wastelands where salinity is high, you can choose the clones of selected clones of the species. But as of now, it is not a well-studied subject.
Okay, thank you, Muralidharan, sir.
Already, Ms. Anuradha, already in the coastal areas,
Yes.
thousands of farmers are residing. And bamboo is one of their important plant for their homestead activities, for agricultural, making agricultural implement, making their houses construction, and they grow bamboo. And it is, you will find, and out of the total species, the 90% species are Bambusa vulgaris, green one, they are growing in the villages.
Okay.
In the,
Okay, sir. Yes.
Sir,
Okay,
there
thank
is
you,
a
sir.
question in the chat box. Has ever efforts been taken to cultivate Mosho or Vulgaris greenie in India? If at all, they are not existing. Also, what species from India can be best for fiber production meant for textiles? Bamboo, fiber, yarn for textiles.
Actually, you see, Moso bamboo, as I mentioned, the climatic suitability is one important thing. And also, another Moso type of that is Phyllostricus aronis. Phyllostricus nigra, Bayer aronis, is growing in the hills of, Kalimpong, and also in Sikkim for several hundreds of years. So several cultivated by the local people. But it needs a specific environment, specific type of habitat. And as regards the fiber, Malacana bexifera is one of the bamboo species. You can already rayon, fiber rayon, and already it has been produced in cordovony paper mills in Chittagong in 1956-57. And there is a list of fiber length studied by Professor Lees. And according to that list, you can select some of the species. All these species are growing in our country. And these species can be grown, and from there, through different process, we can extract the fiber.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank
There is one more question. Besides the common bamboo species, which are the some uncommon species that are your favorites and why?
You mean the tree species?
Yeah, the village bamboo species. I think the question Mahanta sir has asked. Ankur sir, can you elaborate? You can unmute and ask.
Yeah, the person can ask me directly, no problem. What is the name of this gentleman?
Ankur Mahanta.
Mahanta. Ankur
Acha,
Mahanta.
Acha,
He's from
Mahanta.
Assam.
Acha, Assam. Yeah. Very good. So, which species? I'm a man of this part of the land, so I like all the plants. No specific, like I also take pan, pan, then the supari. These are very important crop I take, and also fruits. Mango is very important fruits for me. Jackfruit also important fruits for me. So all the trees, why not? All the trees are growing surrounding to my homestead or nearby homestead. All are important. But all these furniture plants are secondary important. But the village tree trees are the primary importance to me because they are multi-purpose.
I think the question he was referring to uncommon bamboo species, not.
Uncommon bamboo species. Uncommon bamboo, which one is uncommon? Yeah, there are uncommon bamboo species in Northeast India and also in Bangladesh and other areas. Bamboos are uncommon, not so common like Central India. And Dendrobium strictus is also uncommon there, not like Central India. So, most of these species are okay. If we do not see all the species, how the beauty of, bamboo is a kingdom, like a plant kingdom. We can call bamboo kingdom. Plant kingdom, there are thallophytes, bryophytes, angiosperm, gymnosperm in plant kingdom. So bamboo kingdom is there. We can say small bamboo, big bamboo, the temperate bamboo, tropical bamboo. One is monopodial bamboo, one is sympodial bamboo. So many things are to see. So this is very important. All these bamboos are interesting to see. And our limitation, we have limitation, limited knowledge. But one thing, if we go to Himalayan snowline, there are bushy, small bamboos. You can see the bamboos are there in the Himalayan lines. And I had an opportunity with the NMDA as well as INMAR. And at that time, Mr. Lecture Sahab was the PCCF and also the forest conservator. And also in Uttarakhand Fiber Development Board, he was the chief. Then he arranged a field trip and during that time I have learned a lot of things about this interesting bamboo. So I will request all these young scientists to learn also these Himalayan bamboos. Then we can realize how bamboo can grow from snow line to sea coast. And accordingly, their sizes and their behavior also changes.
Good, sir, I have unmuted you. You can now ask questions. Are you satisfied?
No, this is very satisfied. Very
Yeah,
nice.
yeah.
Right?
Thank you, everybody. I hope there are any questions more remaining. So I'll
Hello.
conclude.
Oh, Rajesh Kaushal is there.
Yes, sir. Sir, good
Rajesh,
afternoon.
afternoon. How are you, Rajesh?
Sir, fine, sir. Just I want to ask one question, sir.
Batao.
But before we let's sir congratulate the organizer to bringing stalwart like you, Tetli Saab and Murli Dharan Saab to this common platform. And sir, I'm fortunate enough that I have an opportunity to work with you. And I really salute you for your dedicated work on bamboo. And I have learned so many things from you, sir. Sir, just one question is there that if you remember, we brought Thrasticus oliveri from Tripura in 2005. And it is performing very well in Uttarakhand. I am working since 2005 with this species, and it is showing very good results. And the performance, growth performance, and biomass, everything is very good, sir. But a little bit, sir, now I'm worried because we brought that in 2005, and already it has been more than 19-20 years now. And we are also distributing this species to the farmers also. And I am very much worried because maybe if now I am giving this species to the farmer, maybe it may happen, so it may get flowered. So that is my cause of worry. So what should be our strategy to promote this species, sir? This is wonderful species. And also, sir, to your knowledge, just I want to add that polymorpha is also showing very good result in this northern India conditions, sir. Please, sir.
Now, why you are worried that it will flower?
Because sir, already I am propagating it from that single mother plant what we brought from Tripura. We're propagating it from that only.
That and you see in Tripura, it is not that Tripura everywhere it flowered. In Tripura in 2019, 18-19, only one clump in northern Tripura in a tea garden. It flowered. After that, I have not heard or not seen any clump flowered there. So I don't think there is a danger or fear that it will flower very soon. And another thing, because this oliveri has been already selected by the Chura Chandrapur of Manipur district areas people and brought to the mainland India. And these are, I don't know, through selection, they might have brought one genotype which rarely flowers or not flowers. And as I mentioned, the flowering cycle, I think I have already said 58 to around 48, 50 from the estimated record. And another one is polymorpha or the Thystrostigmus. Both are growing in the northern part of Burma naturally. And northern part means Arakan hills are there, and also some subtropical climate condition is also there. So it is, let us see how they perform. And polymorpha, I believe it will grow because in Dehradun, already in FRI, polymorpha has been growing there for long years in their botanical garden. So I believe it will not be a bad idea that you have introduced to the farmer. These two bamboos are very useful bamboo. Farmer may like it.
Yes, sir. Already they are growing, sir.
It will grow. And as regards Dr. Rajesh, when I was working in the Pandava Krishi Vishwavidyalaya, he was there as an associate professor. And he and Shalil Tawari was the professor at that time in agroforestry department. And Rajesh was my lieutenant. And full time he was with me in the nursery and then in the field in northern India. He was always with me, and we have collected several jalpadum from the northern India and brought to the central bamboo setam or jalpadum garden in Pandnagar, and he was with me. So he has a vast knowledge of field experience, Dr. Rajesh, and now, as you know, he is working in the soil research laboratory, and he is one of my favorite person in the field level. Dr.
Thank you, sir.
Rajesh.
Thank you. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, sir. Now, if there are any more questions, Banik sir will share his email address and you can contact him directly and be in touch with Banik sir and get to know much more. Sir, now we are coming to the end of the session. First of all, I like to thank Banik sir for his great lecture. It's a memorable lecture and it gave me a different insight in various aspects which I was totally ignorant about it. And thank you, sir. Thank you, Tetali sir. Thank you, Murlidharan sir, for coordinating all these. This lecture has been made possible because of the Banik sir, Tetali sir, and Murli sir. I'm grateful to them. I'm also grateful to Dr. Banik Phatak, madam of Maharashtra Vriksha Samvardhini. She has coordinated this Zoom meeting. I'm also grateful to IMDR, Institute of Management Development and Research, Pune. They are taking the initiative of taking this bamboo to the students. So I'm grateful to them. And I'm also grateful to Sandeep Theng, sir, India for Green Energy Initiative. And I'm also grateful for all the participants for their active participation and asking various questions. These deliberations will help us to take a level of knowledge to a different level. And I'm recording and all these lectures and keeping them on YouTube channel of Mission Devrai. You can subscribe to the channel and access the lectures. We'll be covering 10 more lectures during 2025. Plus, there will be some programs and seminars too. So you are welcome to join this Mission Bamboo Awareness 2025 by subscribing to the Mission Devrai channel. And thank you all. Thank you all. I'll be ending the
Also,
meeting now. Sir,
thank you
आपकी
all.
email खाली आपकी email chat box में डालनी है.
आप दे दो ना. You have my email.
Which rlbanik.bamboo दे दूं?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Banik sir, Murli, thank you. It was a very nice discussion.
It's my pleasure.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Dr. Banik, sir.
Yeah.
Email. You can write down my email also and also my phone number.
Yeah, I'll share the phone number also, sir.
How many persons attended? Do you have any record?
I think there were some 38, if I remember rightly, when I checked once.
I end the meeting now.
Yeah. How many participants, sir?
38 participants were at the peak.
Okay. Okay.
Not bad.
And I have recorded this lecture on, this lecture is now on YouTube. I'll be sending the link to all.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
I'm closing
Okay.
the lecture meeting. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you very much to everybody.